I recently did two videos, one on directed trust in South Dakota as well as the trust protector in South Dakota, and how these particular items in South Dakota are reasons why South Dakota is the best trust jurisdiction in the United States. Today I want to kind of add to those two things, or at least to the trust protector, and talk about decanting and why decanting in South Dakota is one more reason why it is supreme over any other trust jurisdiction. So let's get into it. All right, so decanting, it's kind of a simple concept. It simply means that you can move assets from one irrevocable trust to another irrevocable trust. So historically, when you set up a trust, the idea is that it's very rigid and that there's not much flexibility, and once you set it up, you're really stuck with it. However, modern trust law has seen the creation of what's called decanting, and that means, again, assigning assets from one existing trust to another existing trust, whether it's a brand new trust that you just set up or one that's been in existence for many years. But let's just say the first trust no longer works for us, maybe a change in a law or personal circumstances, the beneficiaries have, I don't know, developed a substance abuse issue. It could be a multitude of different reasons. So what do? You have a situation, you need to change the provisions of the trust. So the trust protector, as I talked about in a different video, that role exists for the ability to amend an existing trust. But sometimes you may not want to amend. It may just make more sense to create a new trust. So the trust protector is usually where we see the decanting process facilitated. It's the trust protector who can have the ability, doesn't have to have the ability, but you can allow them to have the ability under South Dakota law to move assets from one trust to another trust, a trust that is drafted for more contemporary circumstances that makes more sense in light of family circumstance, laws, beneficiary situation, whatever it may be. It's all done through the trust protector. In each state, they have different laws around when you can decant assets from one trust to another trust. South Dakota, by far, has the most flexible decanting statutes in the United States, meaning that under more circumstances than not, you can assign assets from that first trust to the second trust. That doesn't mean you can do it in every situation, but let me give you an example of why this is important. So I have a client right now, and I've had clients before, where they set up multiple trusts over many decades, usually in the jurisdiction where they're located, which makes sense. They set it up where they're located according to the laws of where they live. And then what happens over time, because there's been changes, kids have grown up, the kids have become wildly successful, or they've become wildly unsuccessful. For a variety of reasons. Maybe there's been changes in tax laws, and we have seen a change over estate tax laws over the last several decades. But so there's this perfect storm of parents set up many irrevocable trusts over the last several decades, and now they're to a point where maybe they have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trusts, and they want to figure out how to consolidate these trusts, because administratively it's just becoming very, very burdensome to keep up with all of the administration aspect, the tax compliance, the distributions, the crummy letters, whatever it may be. So what they realize is that they can't really consolidate all of these trusts under the laws of the state where they set the trust up. So what they can do is move these trusts to South Dakota, re-domicile them in South Dakota, and then set up a new trust, and then assign the assets from the original trust to the second trust, in an effort to administratively make their lives much less complicated. So that's what we often see. Now, again, you can't do it in every particular circumstance. You have to be careful when you're doing it. There are rules around it, but South Dakota is recognized as being the state with the most robust decanting laws.